Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today we are going through all of the palettes that I used in the month of May and ranking them from my least favorite to my favorites. Now I do this every single month. I will leave my playlist of rankings in case you're interested in seeing what I use this month. It's a combination of brand new releases and tried and true old things and seeing how they stack up against each other. So if that sounds interesting to you, you just want to hang out, keep on watching. Before we get too far into the video, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe and I would love to have you back again on the channel. I really enjoy talking with you guys in the comments and I hope this is a place that you will feel welcome to have discussions about all things makeup. Let's go ahead and get into the video. So this month I have 9 palettes that I used and I felt like, well, I don't just feel like, I was extremely busy at work. So that always, it seems, limits the amount of palettes I use that month because I end up just grabbing what's out right in front of me for convenience sake. So it's a little bit less than some other months, but it's more than my lowest amount this year. So the bottom ranked one is still good. Let me just say that. I actually like all of the palettes this month. Sometimes there are palettes that I go, ooh, this hasn't aged well, like I'm not into it anymore. That wasn't the case this time. So just because this is the bottom doesn't mean I don't like it. In fact, I really like this palette. This is the bottom. This is from Juvia's Place and it is the Nomad palette. I picked this up on a sale they were doing. Looked at it for a while. I just really love that it's neutral, but it's kind of off, if that makes sense. Like there's a little bit of like grunge to it, I feel. And I do love a yellow. This one has a little bit of shimmer to it. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. It's only got 2 actual true shimmers. I haven't even used this deep shimmer. I usually use this more taupey champagne one if I use a shimmer in this palette. This has been really nice and neutral for just like a quick, easy run out the door. It's 9 pan, let's do it. I actually like the mattes better than the shimmers in this palette. The shimmer, like I said, I've only used one of the 2 and it was just kind of like, I like the matte, and even the matte with sparkles better. But I also haven't tried them with glitter glue, so that might make them a little more impactful. But yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just lower because I feel like with it being a 9 pan, it does have some limitations. Everything else has more than 9 pans that I'm going to show you from here. I love this like holographic part on the packaging. Do really, like I said, love this palette, but it feels a little one-trick pony to me. Next up from What's Up Beauty is the Geodes palette. I used this several times. I actually traveled with this on a school trip as well. You might be able to tell when I show you it that it's been a little bit used now. She's gotten some good use. I do wish there was a little bit more variety in the mattes because there is like, I don't know, these 2 are different enough. This one's more like brownie, this one's more pinky, but they give off similar vibes in the crease in my opinion. This is a little cooler. This is like the deepest shade in the palette, so I do wish there was something a little bit deeper than that one. You can pull from something else, but that's easier when I'm at home to do than when I'm traveling. And I have used now, let me make sure I'm actually saying what I am meaning to. Yeah, I've used all of the shades of this so far. I think the shimmers are a little either inconsistent or they're just different formulas. I can't really tell because like this one, I'll say, is way more impactful than like this one per se. Glitter glue definitely helps this one too. It's also not bad. It just, I don't know, it's more of a neutral and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a different neutral rated way higher. It's just more interesting to me than this one. So this one is nice though. I haven't used the other one as much. I forget what it's called, but I have both of the What's Up Beauty palettes and I want to reach for the other one more going forward. Next up from Beauty Bay is the Love Notes palette. I will leave linked if you guys haven't watched it. My few videos I've got where I went over palettes that I bought and never used. This was one of them and I finally got around to using it. I only used a few shades. I did something that was kind of neutral, like I used more of this like champagne-y. It's a little pink, but it's mostly champagne. And I used like the pinks that were so pastel that they were kind of neutral looking in the crease, like a little blushy, and there's definitely some neutrals up here in the corner too. So here is the palette. I don't think you can get this one right now, but I really love Beauty Beige shimmers personally. I think they work really well even without glitter primer, and the price is fantastic. So this one I would reach for again in the future if I wanted something pinky or purpley. That was the only thing, is like if I wanted something neutral or not pink and purple, color story wise, that's really, I feel like, mostly what you can do with that one. But that's the point, right? It's the Love Notes palette. So it's not a con necessarily for the palette in its existence, just, you know, in its total functionality or functionality. I don't know what words I'm saying. You get what I mean. Next up was a release I covered from Saints, Angels, Sinners. This palette's still available, but I believe they're in low stock. If there are palettes like this one that I've created dedicated videos for, I'll leave them linked in the cards, or if I run out of space in the cards, I'll leave them linked in the description box below. This is a collab with Sophia Sadie, otherwise known as Fairy Light, and the palette is called A Fairy Tale. This one, I gotta say, I like this one more than some of the other Saints, Angels, Sinners releases. It's a really nice color story. I think Venus right here is my favorite shade. I think you can see it is very iridescent. It's got both pinky and green elements, which is a really nice tie-in for this color story that has both pink and green. You can go neutral with this one too a little bit more. And I like both the matte and the shimmer selection with this one. They're really nice quality, and I just think the collaborator did a really nice job with the color story. It's just not ranked any higher because even though this one was fantastic, the others, man, I tell you, they've just really, they've nailed it. They've nailed it. And I mean, everything from color story to formulas to theming. This one, I will say, with like the flowers on the inside, didn't give me fairy vibes, right? And I don't know, just like the little 3D animated characters, it just wasn't super, I don't know, it didn't give me fairy vibes the way I wanted it to. Now, that's just me personally, just one opinion. Still love the palette, but that's my thoughts. Next up is the Il Makiage collab with Kathleen Lights, and this is the Disco Fox Pressed Pigment palette. I don't know if you can get this one anymore either. I've got all my little stickers that came with it to decorate, which I think is a really cool idea. I've never seen that done before. And yeah, this is still one I pull out for like special occasions, and that's why I had it out this month. I think it was graduation that I wore this to. The formula, the mattes, incredible, incredible. They blend so well. The shimmers are also a very unique dry formula, but not dry in a bad way. You can either sprinkle them on as a topper or you can build them up, and I really like that versatility in this palette. I think the only reason it's not higher is just like because it's neutral, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just more, I feel more, how do I want to say this? I feel more artistically driven and creative when there's color to play with for the most part. And neutral palettes, like, they look nice and they're functional, but they don't always make me feel super creative. But that's, again, that's just my personal preference. Next up is a pretty neutral palette that made it this far up. This is number 4 this month. This is from Blendbunny, and if you hear me say neutrals and Blendbunny, you probably know already. This is the Dollhouse Palette. I haven't pulled this out in a while. This is actually what I'm wearing today. It's a pretty neutral look, right? I think I only use like 4 or 5. I say only, that might be a lot to you. Colors here, and I only used a couple shimmers in here. But their shimmer formula is next level. It's so amazing. You do not need glitter primer, in my opinion, with this formula. Works really well on its own. The mattes are super pigmented. I hate it when there's like these bone colored shades that are like dusty. They're not dusty. I know some people feel like those transition shades aren't necessary. I personally like them because I have a lot of like blue veins in my eyelids. So I like using those to cover, like to block out, white out, whatever, blank out all of those veins that I have like up here above the eye look. So for me personally, if they're pigmented, they really do serve a purpose. And you can see on this one too, there's plenty of different pops of color throughout, whether it be blue, purple, green, to give you interest in this one. But it's just the matte and the shimmer formula both are outstanding on this one. they blend themselves. You really don't have to do much work, and that's, I think, what sets this one above the others. And it's just, it's a more sparkly, in my opinion, like, there's more sparkles to this one than this one, I think. They're different formulas for sure. This one's a little more emollient, this one's drier. It's just preference, really. And number 3 is from Salem Cosmetics. This is my first time trying them, guys, and this is actually available for the last time right now. So if you're interested in this, they're doing the last pre-order and then it won't be available anymore. So if you want it, grab it. This is their Forest Heart palette. It is a collab with Smink Barrowend, and look at this color story. It's kind of spooky, no? Like, I feel like some Halloween spooky vibes. But I love that. I don't care what time of year it is personally. I have not played with this nearly enough. I think I've gotten 2 times of play with it so far. I haven't done anything with the green so far. So I would really like to do this again. I haven't done a get ready with me in a long time. So I'm thinking I might incorporate it somehow like that, or maybe like a palette bingo or something like that. You guys let me know in the comments what you're interested in seeing, but I really have enjoyed this formula. My first time trying Salem Cosmetics, I really like them, and I really want to try, they just came out with a re-release. They redid their Salem and the Witch palette, and it looks phenomenal. I really, really want that one, but I have already purchased 2 things this month, and I am not gonna break my low buy. That is my rules for myself. So it's the 31st today. I'm filming this the day it's going up. June will be tomorrow. Maybe next month I will get it. We'll see how the cards play. I always want to like wait till the end of the month if I am gonna get something, because well, it's just like, you never know when a collab's gonna come out. Like, you don't know in advance. It's just like, hey, this Friday your favorite YouTuber and collaborator is coming out with this collection. And sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't know, I didn't have time to plan. I wish I knew more in advance, but I know they don't want the hype to die down too quick. Like, I get the marketing ploy, but I wish I had more time. Like, Heather Austin, for example, came out with her collection, and I already bought 2 things this month, so I'm not buying it. Now, will it probably still be available into June and I could get it then? Yeah, probably, but that's just for example what I'm talking about. All right, now number 2 might surprise you, because this has been a number 1 for multiple months, but it was knocked out of first place, you guys. Knocked out, but it's still number 2. That is from Ensley Rain Cosmetics, the Midwinter Dream Palette. Still loving this one so much. Their collab with Brittany Huffman. And truly, it's the shimmers. Like, the mattes are very nice and thin and buildable. I really like that about them. It's a sheer formula, but buildable. You can't get them pigmented. But these shimmers are just another level. I mean, this Snow Nymph, every time I wear this, like golden, it kind of is like a flaky formula. I get so many compliments from that, and I don't need any glitter glue, I find, with this one for it to be potent and it doesn't crease. So yeah, I still haven't done anything really like dark or smoky. I'm not like going out on the town a lot, you guys, so can I do smoky for school? Sure, but sometimes that's a little scary in the daylight. So I need an occasion to go out to be a little more smoky, sultry, but this one, still amazing, still love it. But let's talk about number 1, because it got dethroned this month, and this is from Adept Cosmetics. They've been killing it lately, you guys. Adept really has. Now, this technically is not marketed as an eyeshadow palette. It's not. It's marketed as a multi-use palette, but I've used it as eyeshadow, and it's magnificent, so I decided to put it in this ranking. You can tell me in the comments if you thought that was fair or not, but this is the Adept Cosmetics Ketracel White Palette, and it's got 2 cream highlighters. Of course, that's not like part of what I'm talking about in this video. I'm talking specifically about the shades Founder and Dominion. So you can see probably better in this shade than this that they are multiple stripes of different colors, and I have used these combinations of these 2 to create eyeshadow looks, and they're fantastic. I don't know if this was intentional, but like this one, it almost reminds me of, I've started to see more than just multi-chromes and duochromes and things, but the holographic shadows coming out that have like the full rainbow of mica or whatever it is they put in there to make them holographic, you know, all the colors of the rainbow. And there are shades in Dominion that I see that happening in, and I don't have any holographic shadows, so I'm just fascinated with it. These are more of an iridescent, but again, hopefully you can see there are different stripes of colors that are in this founder pan, and I've used that more for like the lighter shade on either the inner corner or the inner portion of the eye, and then these to deepen out and pair it with some mattes. And I've just had a really good time with this palette overall in general, paired with the fact that I am just an avid Star Trek fan, has really just made this my #1 love this month. Who knows if it'll stick after a month's time, but there you have it. That's my feelings and thoughts and palettes that I used for the month of May. Now, of course, that's not everything I use. I never know whether I should include, maybe you guys can tell me a little bit in the comments about your thoughts or how I could incorporate it, but there are days when I just use singles, right? I just use random mattes and a single shade, like a special shade, something that's, you know, Terra Moons or Glaminatrix or Touch of Glam Beauty, just to name a few. And I never quite know how to incorporate those into this, but maybe you guys can let me know. I'd love to hear it in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching if you made it all the way to the end, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!